Most people think they know how they'd react if they saw someone getting hurt. They tell themselves they'd step in, they'd speak up. They'd be the hero. But when real violence erupts, when someone's daughter is surrounded by laughing boys with weapons, most freeze, most look away. That's exactly what happened on the pier that afternoon. Everyone stepped back. Everyone pretended not to see. Until Jasonstatham saw her collapse, bloodied, gasping, and heard the fisherman's daughter whisper through trembling lips, "Please, don't let them hurt me again." Those boys had no idea they just crossed the one man you never provoke. Before we continue, thank you so much for watching. If you're enjoying these stories and want to hear more just like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. It really helps the channel grow, and I appreciate every single one of you. Most people think bullies are loud, obvious, predictable. But the truth is, the real dangerous ones aren't the ones shouting. They're the ones who wait, the ones who enjoy the power before they even use it. The ones who smile while planning something cruel. Jasonstatham knew that kind of cruelty too well. He had spent half his life working the docks, hauling nets with men twice his size, fighting waves big enough to swallow their boats whole, and learning that strength isn't just muscle, sometimes it's restraint. Sometimes it's knowing when to keep your head down and when to lift it. And sometimes it's knowing when to step in. That was why he was walking along the quiet stretch of the pier that afternoon, a thick folder tucked under his arm. The paper corners were softened from being checked and rechecked by a worried father, Liam, a man with calloused hands and a steady heart. "These are her scholarship documents," Liam had told Jason earlier that morning, coughing in a way that didn't sound simple. "She needs them delivered today. Please, don't let those boys give her trouble again." Jason didn't miss the way the older man's eyes shifted toward the road leading to the high school. He had heard the stories, everyone had. The wealthy boys in the yellow and blue Letterman jackets, the sons of boat owners, business owners, and a senator, who liked to throw their weight around. They were used to being feared, used to being untouchable. And they hated the fisherman's daughter. Not because she'd done anything wrong, but because she was better than them. Smarter, harder working. And because she had the nerve to apply for a scholarship they thought belonged to one of them. Jason had seen her grow up, Maya, the skinny kid who used to sit on the wooden crates sorting bait beside her father, humming old songs from the radio. A girl who carried determination in every step she took. Now she was 17, bruised by life but unbroken. And today, she was supposed to turn in the scholarship documents that could change everything. That's why Jason was walking. That's why he was holding that folder like it was gold. He was supposed to meet Maya at the edge of the school parking lot, hand her the documents and walk away. Simple. But nothing about that day would be simple. Jason spotted her first, standing between two rows of cars, wearing a red plaid shirt, hair tied back in a loose braid, backpack slung over one shoulder. She looked tired, too tired, like she'd run there. He slowed his pace. Then he heard it. A sharp crack, like wood hitting metal. A muffled gasp. Laughter. Hard, ugly laughter. Jason's blood went cold. He stepped between the cars and froze. 5 boys in Letterman jackets had circled her. Maya's face was pale, one cheek was already swollen. She clutched her backpack like a shield. And one of them, tall, broad-shouldered, the ringleader, held a baseball bat in his hand. Jason's jaw tightened. He didn't run forward. Not yet. He didn't shout. Not yet. He watched. The ringleader smirked. "Hey, scholarship girl, heard you think you're better than us. Heard you think you can outrank us." Maya didn't respond. Jason saw the tremble in her fingers. Another boy flicked her braid. "What's wrong? Cat got your pride." Jason's grip on the folder nearly snapped it in half. Then the ringleader lifted the bat again and struck the ground beside her foot, so close the vibration made her jump. "Oops," he said sarcastically. "My bad, slipped." Jason stepped forward. Not running. Not shouting. But every step echoed like a warning. One of the boys noticed him first. His smirk faltered. Hey man, we're just talking." Jason ignored him. He walked straight to Maya, placed a gentle hand on her shoulder, and handed her the folder. "These are from your dad," he said softly. Her eyes filled with tears, not from pain but from relief. "Jason, I'm sorry." "You have nothing to be sorry for." She nodded, clutching the documents to her chest. Then Jason turned around, and the temperature in the parking lot dropped 5 degrees. The boys exchanged glances, clearly unsure whether to keep posturing or back down. Jason's calmness unsettled them more than if he'd shouted. The ringleader cleared his throat. "We were just teaching her a lesson, no harm." Jason tilted his head. "A lesson," he repeated. "About what?" "That she doesn't belong," another boy muttered. "That she should know her place," the ringleader added. Jason took a slow step forward. "What place is that?" Silence. They weren't ready for this version of him. Quiet, steady, too controlled. "You see," Jason continued, "I've hauled nets in storms big enough to flip boats. I've worked 12-hour days on nothing but black coffee and stubbornness. I've broken up fights in bars where men twice your size were trying to cave each other's skulls in." He stopped just inches away from the ringleader. "And I can tell you this, it's always the loudest men who are the weakest." The ringleader swallowed hard. A boy behind him muttered, "Let's go, he's crazy." But the ringleader didn't move. His pride wouldn't let him. And that pride would destroy him. "You don't scare me," he said. "You're just a fisherman." Jason let out a quiet breath. "Good," he said. "I'm not here to scare you." The boys looked confused. Then Jason's eyes darkened, cold, sharp, lethal. "I'm here to warn you." Before they could react, Jason moved. Not violently, not recklessly, but with precision. He snatched the bat from the ringleader's hand and snapped it clean across his knee, splintering it like it was a twig. The boys flinched. Jason tossed the broken pieces on the ground. "If you ever touch her again," he said slowly, "I'll show you what a fisherman does with sharks." Nobody spoke. Nobody breathed. Then Jason took Maya's hand and walked her toward the school doors, not looking back once. But Maya did. And behind them the boys stared in stunned silence, faces pale, bravado shattered. They had no idea the day would get worse. They had no idea a line had just been crossed. They had no idea that one of them would make a mistake he could never undo. Because bullies don't forget humiliation. And Jasonstatham didn't forget threats. The fight wasn't over. Not even close. And in the next hours, those boys would learn exactly what it meant to provoke the wrong man. The school doors shut behind them with a dull echo, and for a moment the noise of the world softened. Maya kept one hand clutching the scholarship folder to her chest and the other gripping Jason's sleeve as if letting go might cause the earth to tilt. "Are you okay?" Jason asked gently, lowering his voice so she wouldn't feel overwhelmed. She nodded, but tears still clung to her lashes. They've been bothering me all month, Jason, ever since they found out I'm applying for the scholarship their captain wanted." Jason exhaled slowly. "That's not your fault." Her voice cracked. "I know, but they don't care." Jason wanted to tell her he'd fix everything. But he also knew life didn't work like that. Bullies didn't stop after one confrontation. Sometimes they only got worse. Still, he placed his hand on her shoulder. "Listen, you go inside, give your documents to the office, and go straight home. I'll wait outside until you're done." Her eyes softened. "You don't have to." "Yes," he answered firmly, "I do." She managed a small smile before hurrying down the hallway. Jason watched her until she turned a corner. Then he turned back toward the glass entrance, and something in his gut twisted. Through the tinted doors, he saw movement. The boys hadn't left. They hadn't even moved. They were still standing between the cars, clustered in a tight huddle, talking angrily, heads snapping around like vicious dogs searching for something to chew. Jason's jaw flexed. He knew that behavior, that energy, that need to reclaim pride after losing face. He'd seen men get stabbed in bars over less. He stepped outside again, leaning against the brick wall near the entrance. He folded his arms and kept his eyes on them, not glaring, just watching, but watching was enough. For several minutes they didn't approach. They muttered. They paced. They stared at him with the kind of hatred that tries to hide fear. Students continued flowing out of the building, walking by with backpacks bouncing, earbuds in, chatter spilling into the air. None of them noticed the tension simmering like a match beside gasoline. Jason stayed still. He didn't blink. He didn't budge. But then something happened that made the hair on his neck rise. A black SUV pulled into the parking lot. Expensive. Tinted windows. The kind that didn't belong near a school unless someone very important, or very dangerous, was inside. The boys straightened immediately when they saw it. Jason pushed off the wall and took a step forward. The SUV parked. The engine cut. The rear door opened. And a man stepped out. Tall, well-dressed, shaved head, sunglasses, the kind of jawline that came from chewing cigars through half his adult life. He moved like someone used to being obeyed. And the way the boys reacted, straightening their jackets, lowering their heads, told Jason everything he needed to know. This was no parent coming to pick them up. This was someone they were afraid of. The man removed his sunglasses. His eyes were cold and sharp, like polished ice. He surveyed the boys, then swept his gaze across the parking lot. It landed on Jason. And didn't move. Jason felt the shift in the air instantly. A silent challenge. A silent threat. The boys began explaining, talking quickly, using large gestures, pointing discreetly toward Jason. The man listened, expression blank. Then he turned his body fully toward Jason, chin lifted. Jason didn't step back. He didn't even blink. For a full 10 seconds, nobody moved. The wind pushed dry leaves across the pavement. A bell rang in the distance. A group of students laughed as they walked by, unaware. Finally, the man raised a finger and beckoned his boys toward the SUV. They climbed in, one by one. The door slammed. The SUV rolled forward, passing Jason slowly enough for him to see the man's eyes through the windshield. It wasn't over. The man wasn't done. This was a promise. Jason stayed until Maya came out of the building, breathless from jogging down the hallway. "I submitted everything," she said with a shaky smile. "That's great," Jason said. "Let's get you home." He walked her to her father's small truck. She climbed inside, buckled her seat belt and looked up at him. "Jason," she asked quietly. "Yeah. You won't tell Dad I cried, right?" Jason smiled softly. "Your secret's safe." She smiled back. But as he closed the truck door and stepped back, he felt that same twist in his gut again. Someone was watching. He scanned the street. Empty. Quiet. Normal. But his instincts didn't lie. Something was coming. He just didn't know when. It came 3 hours later. Jason was back at the docks, tying ropes and preparing his nets for the morning tide when his phone buzzed. Unknown number. He answered. "Yeah." A trembling voice whispered, Jason, it's Maya." His stomach dropped. "Maya, what's wrong?" I don't know where I am." His blood turned cold. "What do you mean? Are you hurt?" "No," she sobbed, "but Jason, please." Her voice cracked into panic gasps. "I can't find my brother." Jason froze. "Maya, where is he?" They grabbed him after school. He was waiting for me outside the bus stop. They put him in a van and then drove off." Her words tumbled out in frantic bursts. "I tried to chase them. I fell. Jason, I think they took him because of me." Jason's grip tightened so hard the rope burned his palm. "Maya, listen. I need you to tell me everything you saw. Start from the beginning." I was walking home," she cried. "He was waiting by the old truck stop like always. Then the same boys from earlier, her voice twisted with guilt. They shoved him into a black van. I saw it. I saw all of it." Jason felt fire ignite in his chest. "Where are you right now?" "I'm hiding behind the diner. I didn't know where else to go." Jason didn't hesitate. "I'm coming." He grabbed his keys, sprinted to his truck and tore out of the lot. Every muscle in his body was tight with adrenaline. His jaw clenched so hard it ached. His lungs burned with every breath. And yet one thought cut through everything. They took her brother. They crossed a line. They crossed his line. He reached the diner in 5 minutes, skidding into the gravel lot. Maya was exactly where she said she'd be, curled behind a stack of crates, hugging her knees. Her face was streaked with dust and dried tears. Jason knelt beside her. "It's okay," he said softly. "You did the right thing calling me." But when she looked up, her bottom lip trembled. "They took him, Jason. They took my baby brother, and I don't know why." Jason did. He knew exactly why. Punishment. Retaliation. A message. Bullies with power always escalated when their pride was bruised. And now they dragged a child into it. Jason's voice hardened. "We're going to get him back." Before Maya could respond, the light outside dimmed. A shadow fell over them. Jason turned. 4 figures stood in the doorway of the diner. Letterman jackets. Timber boots. Baseball bats gleaming under the sunset. Behind them, a 5th silhouette stepped forward. Tall. Cold. Sunglasses resting on his shirt collar. The man from the SUV. Jason felt Maya clutch the back of his shirt. The boys spread out, blocking the exit like wolves circling prey. Jason slowly stood, positioning his body in front of Maya. The man stepped closer, hands in his pockets, expression calm. "You should have walked away, fisherman," he said. Jason's eyes narrowed. "Where's her brother?" A small smile tugged at the man's mouth. "You'll get him back, eventually. Depends how well this conversation goes." Jason's fists curled. "This is between you and me, not a kid." The man shrugged. "Actions have consequences. You humiliated my boys today. That requires balance." Jason took 1 step forward. "You don't want balance." The man's smile widened. "No, I want obedience." Jason exhaled once. A calm, quiet, deadly breath. "Wrong answer." The man snapped his fingers. The boys moved. But Jason was already in motion. He kicked the nearest bat out of a boy's hand before it even swung, grabbed his collar and hurled him into a stack of crates. Wood exploded. The remaining boys surged forward, shouting, swinging, charging. Jason intercepted the next one mid-stride, driving his elbow into the boy's jaw so hard the kid collapsed instantly. A bat swung toward Jason's ribs. He caught it, wrenched it free, and cracked it across another boy's knee. Bones snapped. The boy screamed. He dropped like a stone. 2 were left. They hesitated. Jason didn't. He drove forward, grabbing one by the jacket and slamming him into the diner wall. The other tried to swing at Jason's back. But Maya screamed, "Jason, behind you." Jason spun, catching the boy's wrist, twisting it until he dropped the bat. Then he shoved him backward, sending him sprawling into the dirt. Silence. The man from the SUV stood alone now. Expression gone. Smile gone. Only coldness remained. Jason stepped toward him. "Where is the boy?" For the first time, the man swallowed. Jason's eyes sharpened. "You have 10 seconds. The man lifted his hand slowly. All right. We didn't hurt him. He's in the old boathouse at the marina." Jason didn't blink. "You're coming with me." He grabbed the man by the collar, dragging him toward his truck as Maya followed, breath trembling but eyes fierce. This wasn't over. Not even close. They had a child to save. And those boys were about to learn what happened when you touched family. Because to Jason, that's exactly what Maya and her brother were. Family. And he would burn the whole town down before letting anything happen to them.